Does camera gear matter for wedding photographers and videographers? Yes and no. Let me explain. The best way I can explain is by giving you this example. If photographer A has a lot of experience, has a cheap camera, but has a beautiful portfolio and has a beautiful pictures compared to photographer B that has no experience at all, had the best camera on the market, had all the best everything, the best lens, the best lights, and everything. But if he doesn't know how to use it and he doesn't have a nice profile, who do you think they're gonna pick? Of course, they're gonna go for photographer A because people don't care what kind of camera you have. They only care of the final product. But let me explain why it does matter at one point of having an expensive gear. And I'm telling you this because of my personal experience. So, for example, based on my experience, during the wedding at church is not so big of a deal because they usually have pretty decent lighting, so it's not a big deal. Then when you go to take them outside and do a couple photo shoot or anything like that, not a big deal either because you can bring your own lights, of course. Now the problem it does come when it comes to the party because usually on the party they turn off the lights and you only have the digit lights, and as you know it's not really that bright. And if you have a cheap camera, you know the sensor is gonna be small, and even your lens, your aperture is not gonna open too wide. So that's when it does come to when expensive gear does matter. Now with the bigger aperture for a lens with a bigger aperture, they're really expensive. Based depends on what kind of lens you get. For example, the one that I have here, that 24 to 70, that's my main lens that I use. That costs over $2,000. Now I do have the Canon R5, and of course, that is over $4,000. So that's already over $6,000 on gear, and of course that we're not talking about the extra lighting and like the flash and stuff like that. We're just talking about use the main body, right? That being said, when I first started doing wedding photography and quinceañeras and Sweet 16 too, we didn't start with the most expensive camera. We started with the Canon M50. That's like a $1,000 camera. We did started with a decent lens. It was a $1,200 lens. It wasn't the RL lens, the RF lens. It was the I believe it was a 24 to 72, a 2.8, but it was used, so it was, we wanted something at least a lens. The lens is one of the most important part. You can have a decent body, but if you have a pretty nice lens, it's gonna be it's gonna bring your work a lot higher. So we started with the a cheap camera and a decent lens. So that being said, we didn't start charging thousands of dollars at first. Actually, with our first wedding, and it wasn't just me; it was me and my friend. We started doing the wedding as a with the video and photography, so they got both for $200. Even for back then, 5 years ago, that's really cheap. So my main point of this story is, you got to start low, build your profile, show people what you can do, and then that money, then you can start charging more, of course, and that money is gonna start coming in, and of course that's when you needs to start investing back into the business and get more expensive camera. According to you see that if you if you know how to play it and you know the places that you're gonna be going, you don't need the extra equipment, then I'm assuming that you should be good. But if you want to be prepared for, because you might be going to a different location that you don't know how the lighting is gonna be, right? So you want to be prepared for those kind of situations. So then I would invest into a better camera, and that's the same exact thing with video. You want to start slow, charging a little bit, learn how to use your camera, learn what the aperture, the shutter speed, what everything your camera does. Because if you don't know what you're doing and you're on an event and then I don't know where to turn off the lights and you don't know how to use your camera, then guess what? You're not gonna get good content. You're gonna miss all the pictures, or you're gonna miss your video. It's gonna be even be too dark or be too bright. So that's why you need to learn exactly where each button does, what it controls, and how to use it. You need to learn your ISO, what's the highest that you can push it until you get that noise. So when all these YouTubers is telling you about all these cameras that they do great things, like the Canon R5 Mark II that has this AI adaptation and all that, you don't really need it. It does help. It is nice to have it, but do you need it? No. If you get to the point that you're making a lot of money, then yeah, it would be a nice toy to have. Well, not toy because you're gonna be making money with it, but you can say that it is worth it. Having it, and you don't want to buy it just to say that you have the best camera on the market. You want to have it because you want to know how to use it and push that camera to the limit, because you already have your old camera, push it to the limit, and you want to push yourself even more, then you get a better gear. But until then, if you haven't pushed your old camera to the limit, and then you for sure is the camera or either the lens or the body that is holding you back, then don't listen to these other people telling you that you need the newest camera body and all that. No, learn how to use it and you'll be great at it. If you need any more tips related to photography or videography, let me know in the comments, and I will either answer you on the comments or make a video about it if I cannot explain it on the comment. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching.